everyone, and welcome back to the Football Chuggu Podcast. My name is Thomas Durning, and today I'm joined by my co-host, Pearse McLaughlin. Hello, Pearse.
Hello, how you doing?
Doing well. On today's podcast, we'll be discussing last weekend's English Premier League and Scottish Premier League results. We will also react to last week's European matches, preview Scotland's two upcoming matches, and Pearse will be giving a rundown of all the latest Asian football news. So coming up next, we'll discuss last weekend's English Premier League matches. So I'll just quickly run through all the results. So the results were Wolves 2, Tottenham 1, Crystal Palace 2, Everton 3, Man United 1, Luton Town 0, Arsenal 3, Burnley 1, AFC Bournemouth 2, Newcastle 0, Aston Villa 3, Fulham 1, Brighton 1, Sheffield United 1, Liverpool 3, Brentford 0, West Ham United 3, Nottingham Forest 2, Chelsea 4, Man City 4. So, Pearse, what do you think? Which match from these set of results stands out to you?
For me, it's two. Because I watched the Wolves Tottenham match with which was billed as like the South Korean kind of derby because of Hwang Hee-chan and Son Heung-min, and I thought Tottenham with their injury struggles, you can see they're a bit fragile at the back, and as the game wore on, the quality drifted away from them because they started the game brilliantly. Brennan Johnson got his first goal of the season. Lovely team move, but as the game got on, Wolves grew into the game and created numerous opportunities, and Tottenham were just trying to hang on. And a moment of quality from substitute Pablo Sarabia in the 91st minute. You're like, oh, it's two drop points. And virtually last kick of the game, Lamina, next one, and you're like, wow. You're just like, this is a manager that's just won 3 manager months in a row, and now he's got 2 defeats in a row in the matter of a week. So just how the party can just kind of pop. I mean, the balloon, like, just like they were riding this roller coaster, and then they've got all these injuries, and that's back-to-back defeats. So it's kind of a reality check of how hard the Premier League is. And obviously, we all know how good a starting 11 Tottenham have, but it's just about the squad. You know the depth just isn't there, and that was to be seen at the weekend. And obviously the biggest match of the weekend probably is the 4-4 between Man City and Chelsea, which was just an absolute madness. And obviously Cole Palmer had to get the equaliser, having just left Man City in the summer, having had limited opportunities. But you can't begrudge the boy for leaving, because obviously he's wanting to continue his development. And obviously when you look at Man City's starting 11 in their bench, he's not getting into the team, let's be honest, because they've just got rags of riches. Like, there's so many attacking options, especially if you get somebody like Jack Grealish sitting on the bench. He's £100 million man. He's like England's kind of poster boy. Like, if he's not getting a game, and he's something Phil Foden sitting on the bench, or Bernardo Silva, like, if Pep, doesn't matter who you are or what you've achieved, he rotates how he feels fit, and you can't argue, because Pep Guardiola is one of the best managers of all time, and he's proven that. But no, in terms of the game, I thought it was absolutely crazy. Both sides just could not defend, but it was just a perfect example of high scoring attacking football. And I think you're starting to see Pochettino's turn the fortune down at Chelsea, because there was a long time they just couldn't score. Well, you get 4 in one game, and obviously they beat Tottenham last week as well. So the form's looking up for them, and I think it's only going to get better for Chelsea. And obviously it's a good thing as well that Man City aren't running away with the league, that there is a weakness at the back there they're not as strong as last season. And obviously with the addition of Gavardiol, you thought it'd be a lot more solid. No one would get past them, but no, there's weaknesses there. But it's great, because it's going to make an exciting title race this season, that's for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm just looking through all these results here. I mean, there's quite a lot of good matches last weekend, but you just mentioned it, Pearse. I mean, that Chelsea Man City game that's my standout of the weekend. It was mental. It really was. I mean, both teams trying to win the match. I think that's what you want to see. It's what you want to see. You know, just such good attacking football. that was on display. You know, Cole Palmer. We've got to give him a shout out because, he takes the penalty in the last minute. Chelsea are 4-3 down against his former club, his boyhood club, and I mean the penalty that he dispatched was amazing. It was a brilliant penalty under all that pressure. But no, the Chelsea match was amazing. But you were right in saying that Pochettino is starting to. I think we're starting to see it click now. With Chelsea, they really do seem to have turned a corner. I mean that's 2 games in a week that Chelsea have played, and I mean we were talking last week on the podcast about the Chelsea Tottenham game and how mental a game that was, and now we're talking about Chelsea again this week, and so I mean that just goes to show that that they're really they're really coming on, and they're scoring lots of goals at the moment. And I can't remember what Tottenham game it was, but I remember in Pochettino's time in charge of Tottenham, there was a game that they played right at the start of his tenure as Tottenham head coach, and that game kind of clicked for Tottenham. And then obviously Tottenham Pochettino had a great kind of few years. So I might be wrong, but the last game, the Chelsea Tottenham game, just last week there, I think that might be the game that we'll look back on and Pochettino's time in charge and we go, that was a game that kind of started Chelsea's kind of good run under Pochettino. But no, that was a standout game at the weekend, absolutely. I just want to give a quick kind of shout out to Everton as well. They won 3-2. Crystal Palace, Everton I mean, they're doing really well at the moment under Sean Dyche. I think he's done a brilliant job with Everton. They're kind of really kind of starting to hit gear now. And, I think with Tottenham, I think with Everton and Sean Dyche, I think Everton are going to be, really safe. I think they'll probably finish comfortably mid-table this season and
Which
not
I
have
think
another.
it's timely the fact is that Calvert-Lewin's now back in the side.
Exactly. They've got
Difference
Beto as well.
a proper number 9 makes to the team, and Calvert-Lewin is a proper number 9.
Yeah, and they've got Beto as well, the other striker, they signed from Indonesia in the summer. So him and Calvert-Lewin, that's a really good kind of 2 good strikers there. But no, I think Everton are doing really well. I mean, that's a good result for them as well, going away from home. I don't think they've got a great away record as well, so that's a great result for them.
I'll
Oh,
give you a
and just
stat, Tom,
lastly,
sorry. I'll give
on
you a
you go,
stat.
man, on you go.
Everton have actually got a better away record this season than they have at home, which is
Oh, there you go then. Kind of just says, oh, doesn't it? I mean, and that's quite a good thing as well, because if you can go away from home and have that kind of good mentality, and that's quite weird to think that because obviously Goodison Park's a really hostile place, so it's quite mental to think that everyone aren't getting results at home, but they are getting results away from home. So that is a bit strange. But I just want to quickly give a shout out to Aston Villa. I think that's 13 home wins in a row now. I mean that's ridiculous. They're right up. They're right up at the top of the league standings at the moment. They're 5th, but I don't think they're that far off first. But no, I mean they're doing. I mean Unai Emery, what a job he's done since he's come in. Absolutely amazing and
top class manager.
yeah, exactly. Top class manager, he really is. He's definitely one of the top 5 managers at least in that league, if not top 3. Really, really good. And obviously, I just want to. I mean, the improvement I've seen from John McGinn as well under Unai Emery's been. It's been really, really amazing. So lots of good matches this weekend, but these 3 matches I wanted to shout out. And also the Chelsea Man City match was my standout game from the weekend. So we also had English teams playing in Europe last week. So I'll just quickly run through the results for them. So it finished Borussia Dortmund 2, Newcastle United 0, Man City 3, Young Boys 0, Copenhagen 4, Man United 3, Arsenal 2, Sevilla 0, Ajax 0, Brighton 2, Toulouse 3, Liverpool 2, West Ham United 1, Olympiacos 0, and Aston Villa 2, AZ Alkmaar 1. So what do you think, Pearse? There's a match there from last week that
I think it's got to be the only one into it. I think it's the Copenhagen Manchester United.
Yeah.
I think it's like the biggest shock there. Obviously some great results there for the English sides in Europe.
Man United are a bit of trouble as well now, I think, after that defeat.
Oh, definitely. I don't think that they'll. I think they've got. I don't know how many points they've got, but it's going to be nigh on impossible to get out the group. I don't think it's mathematically yet, but there's a stat. What was it? I think there's like 6 goals, 5 or 6 goals. Rasmus Højlund has scored in Europe, and every time he scored in that game or whatever game he's played in that he scored, Manchester United have gone on to lose the game, which is an incredible stat. And this is a man that's signed for a big fee, but I think he's got 5 or 6 goals in the Champions League, and he's got 0 in the Premier League, which is you'd imagine it'd be the opposite way around because Champions League is like the pinnacle of European football. But the fact that Manchester United 2-0 up, cruising, then the Rashford incident, which he gets a red card after a VAR review, and then obviously Copenhagen come back into it, and then just poor defending again, back post, set pieces, and then Copenhagen just kind of peppered them, and then you think, oh, it's 2-2. Manchester United then get a penalty, 3-2 up, last 15 minutes, see the game out, and they couldn't do that. I thought fantastic result for Copenhagen, but Manchester United just put piles of pressure on Ten Hag. I know he's managed to get some results recently in the league, but they're not really impressive in terms of any style of play, and you don't really see nice free-flowing football. It's kind of like it's boring to watch at times, and they just don't excite the fans. And I think, although he's had a great record on paper in terms of how many wins he's got in the Premier League and stuff like that, but I don't think he's improved any players, and I think a lot of the players aren't performing. You look at, for instance, like Marcus Rashford, like he's not kind of hit the heights he did last season, and they lack a real creativity in the team. And obviously he's not getting the best out of his summer signings either. Although they do have an injury crisis at the back, but you can't feel sorry for him because like every other team has injuries. Look at Tottenham across the road. You've seen Chelsea have injuries, and Man City have got injuries as well. So no,
It's all issues there, isn't it?
so just excuses. But I just if you look at any game Manchester United playing, you're not sure if they're going to pick up any points. And I think even looking at the weekend, they struggled. But in the Champions League, I think nigh on impossible. I think they will get put out, and they'll be lucky if they even scrape Europa League.
Yeah, no, I agree. They're in big trouble in that group now, I think. That was quite a. I think they had to get something from that game. They couldn't afford to lose that game. The fact that they have, that kind of puts them in a lot of trouble, and they've still got to go to Galatasaray away from home, which we all know is a very hostile place to go. I don't think I think there's a stat I read recently. I don't think Man United have ever won there at Galatasaray. So, and obviously they get Bayern Munich at home, and we all know about Bayern Munich, and they're one of the best teams, and if not the best team in the world at the moment. And you've got Harry Kane that's scoring every game at the moment for them. So I mean, they're going to be in for it. That's going to be a really, really tough kind of last two games for them. I mean, it's hard to make a case for them that they're going to, even get Europa League football in their mind. Even get out from that group, get to the last 16. So no, they're in big trouble in that group. That's my standout game for the week from the European matches, from the English European matches last week. But also, I want to shout out Brighton, who went to Ajax and won 2-0 at the Amsterdam Arena. We're sitting there. I don't think anyone thinks that's a surprise because we all know Ajax have got troubles at the moment, and we all know how good Brighton. But I just think I think if we were sitting here 10 years ago, and we said in 10 years' time that Brighton would be playing Ajax away from home and they would beat them 2-0, I don't think anyone, even Brighton fans, don't think they would even think that could happen. So it's crazy. I mean, it really is. I mean, I think that's probably Brighton's biggest ever result in Europe. It's such a crazy result. It really is, and it's not even surprising. So, absolutely, I mean, brilliant result that you got. You're going to say something?
See remember the playoff game against Watford where they suffered the Deeney moment? Was that about 10 years ago, maybe more? Where you had like
no, that was Leicester. That was Leicester and Watford.
Leicester, sorry. But
Yeah, no, that was Leicester Watford.
we're a side that were struggling in the Championship to even
Yeah,
make it to Premier League, and look at them now, lads are flying in Europe. And
yeah. I mean, they nearly went out of business. I can't. I'm quite a while ago. You know, they were in League Two and they've built their way up now in Europe. And you know, I mean, it really is. It's such a good result for them, but it's not even surprising. So these two results for me, they're my standout matches from English teams playing in Europe last week. So we'll move on now to last weekend's Scottish Premier League results. So I'll just quickly go through them. So it was Dundee 4, St Mirren 0, Hibs 1, Kilmarnock 0, Motherwell 1, Hearts 2, St Johnstone 1, Ross County 0, Livingston 0, Rangers 2, and Celtic 6, Aberdeen 0. So just quickly before we go on to the results, we today, at the time of recording it, we got a bit of breaking news that the Ross County manager, Malky Mackay, got sacked after the defeat from St Johnstone, which was 1-0 St Johnstone at the weekend. So just quickly, Pearse, what's your reaction to that news?
a bit surprised, to be honest. I thought Ross County have under Malky Mackay have punched above their weight pretty well. He's had them playing some nice football at times, played them resolute at the back. But last season you've seen them, they struggled, especially towards the end of the season. But they picked up a bit of form, managed to see off Partick Thistle in the playoff final. And I think this season you've seen them struggle a bit. But I thought they'd maybe stuck with him a bit, give him a bit more time. But it'll be interesting to see who takes over. And I think there's quite a high profile names out there that probably will take over, because it is a great club, got a decent fan base, and they're a solid Premiership outfit. And I think with St Johnstone recently sacking Steve McLean, and you've seen upturns and fortunes in them in terms of the interim manager, picking up 2 wins in the last 2 games, I think. So I think maybe they've seen that and they've kind of acted swiftly to see and try get them pushed up the table, because they're sitting second bottom, not directly bottom, but it's not been a great start for them. But I think probably the standout name for me in terms of taking over probably somebody like Neil Lennon. I think he's got that Premiership experience. He's out of work, and I think he would love a job back in Scotland.
Yeah, yeah. I was a little bit surprised, to be honest. I mean, they were on a 9-game winless run. You know, so it has been tough for them at the moment. But you know, I mean, I'm surprised it's come at this kind of time. I thought maybe give them a little bit more time, maybe even till Christmas, just to see if he could turn it around. But you know, Ross County have just kind of decided that, you know, now's the time to make the change. Maybe they have looked at St Johnstone, and they've kind of turned it around a little bit. So maybe they thought that, you know, maybe that kind of manager change might kind of change their fortunes. But you know, I mean, I think he's done a really good job, Malky Mackay at Ross County. I think he did a really good job. You know, I think in the first season in charge, they got a top 6 finish. You know, and they had players like Joseph Humble and Regan Charles Cook, who were really good for them, and they got a bit of money. I think for one, I think it was Charles Cook they got quite a bit of money for. So I think he did a really good job for them. You know, I think he'll probably get back in to another job pretty soon. You know, and don't know how Ross County will react from this. You were saying about Neil Lennon, being interested in that job. He probably will be, but you know, it'll be interesting to see who they do appoint, because you know, they kind of do need to start at least winning matches, because you know they just about got away with relegation last season. So I don't think they'll want to be involved in it again this season. So yeah, so Malky Mackay getting sacked, a little bit surprised, but I guess we'll see if that was the right decision or not in a few weeks' time. So here's what. So just the rest of the matches then. So is there a match or matches there that stands out to you?
Yeah, I think there's 2 matches stand for me. I think there's 2 high scoring matches, to be honest. So
Yeah.
it's Dundee 4, St Mirren 0. which I thought was unheard of in terms of St Mirren losing 4 goals away from home because they're so solid at the back and they're offer such a goal threat. But no, I thought at times they were all over the place, and I think Dundee at Dens Park, I think they could be a trouble for any side. And I think it was Bakayoko up front got a double. Him and what's his name? The striker. Oh, what's the other striker's name?
For St Mirren,
Oh, Dundee.
they've got Bakayoko.
Bakayoko. And who's the other one? He used to play for Rangers.
Is it Rudden?
Rodden, that's it. Isaac. Was it Isaac Rodden? So it was a combination of the two up front. They just caused that St Mirren defence nightmares all afternoon. And I think a standout player for me I've seen this season has been Luke McCowan for Dundee. He's just a really creative spark in midfield, and he's got an eye for goal as well. So I think he'll be one to watch out for in terms of maybe a bigger side in the SPL next season. Maybe eyeing him. But no, I think that was a shock result for me because you look at that in the fixture list, you'd probably suggest that Mirren comfortable 2-0 win, something like that. But no, a 4-0 win, I think that's a great result, and it will send shortwaves for the SPL. And in terms of the other game, it would be the Celtic 6 Aberdeen 0. It was 6 going on 60 at times at the weekend. I think Celtic were just brilliant from start to finish. Thought Aberdeen offered little to no goal threat. They're just kind of looking to sit in and hitting the counter set pieces, but they never even ventured forward that much because Celtic just that much possession, that much control in the game, and I felt as if Aberdeen at times were a bit overly physical, and two Celtic players had to go off for head knocks, which you never want to see in any football match. Kyogo Furuhashi and Yang Hyun-jun. But no, I think Celtic standout player for me has got to be Lewis Palmer. I think every week as his Celtic career progresses, he's just getting better and better. And I think Celtic it makes it easier to forget Jota, because they had a song for Jota on the wing, and he used to light up defences in Europe and in the domestic league. And I think Lewis Palmer is now becoming a Celtic fan favourite. And you see his performance in Europe and in the league. He's got an eye for goal and he's got an eye for assist. May not be the quickest player, but he's a goal threat, and he's an exciting player to watch. And I think that was this 2 standout fixtures for me this weekend.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. You know, the St Mirren Dundee St Mirren match, which finished 4-0 to Dundee. You know, I'm not necessarily surprised at the fact Dundee won, but I'm surprised at St Mirren the fact that they got beat 4-0. You know, you don't see that often nowadays with St Mirren. You know, they usually are really tight in defence. You know, they don't really concede a lot of goals, so the fact that they got beat 4-0 was really surprising. You know, I think that's 3 games now they've went without a win, so they've kind of went on a downturn a little bit, so they'll want to kind of change that pretty quick and get back to that really good start to the season that they've had. But Dundee, I've got to shout out as well because I think they've had a brilliant start to the season. He obviously returned to the top flight this season, but Tony Docherty's come in and I think he's done a really good job. You know, they're quite high up in the table. You know, they've got, as I was just saying there, with Bakayoko and Zach Rudden, and strikers. Bakayoko, I think, scored 2 goals at the weekend as well. I think he looks to be a big player for them. So really good from Dundee. You know, they've had a really good start. Then, you know, right up there at the top end of the table, which is, you know, pretty surprising for me. I didn't expect them to be like that, but you know, they've had a really good start to the season. I just want to say the Motherwell game as well. Motherwell 1, Hearts 2. You know, Motherwell, that's I think that's 9 maybe matches now that they've gone without a win. You know, they're losing quite a lot of matches at the moment. You know, and that start to the season that they had is well and truly disappeared. You know, they're right down at the bottom end of the table now. So, you know, it's beginning to not look great for Motherwell at the moment. You know, they really need to pick up fast because, you know, for me, I thought they would be kind of high up the table this season. I thought they'd struggle without Kevin Van Veen, but you know, I didn't expect them to kind of be like this. So they'll need to pick up pretty quickly. And then obviously lastly the Celtic Aberdeen, which finished 6-0 to Celtic. That's obviously we'll talk about European matches just very shortly, but obviously that's a really good result for Celtic after a European match. I think Aberdeen had a little bit of a European hangover. I think this match was just too soon for them because last weekend they played the cup semi-final, then they played in Europe this week, and then they had to go to Celtic Park. So, I think this match for Aberdeen just came a bit too quickly for them, and they just didn't look really ready, and they didn't. I think they lacked a bit of energy as well. But a really good result for Celtic. That's their biggest result, biggest win of the season. And as you said about Luis Palma, I think he was really, really good at the weekend. So no, those three matches for me were the kind of big kind of standing points for me from the weekend. So we had Scottish teams playing in Europe last week as well. So there was three of them. So in the Champions League, it finished Atletico Madrid 6, Celtic 0. In Europa League, it finished Rangers 2, Sparta Prague 1. And in the Conference League, it finished PAOK Salonika 2, Aberdeen 2. So as there's only three matches, we're going to go through them individually. So we'll start off with the Atletico Madrid 6, Celtic 0 match. So what's your thoughts?
Pretty surprising. The scoreline, you would never expect that before kickoff. But if you look on paper, Atletico Madrid has got the best defense in La Liga this season, and they're the highest scoring team in La Liga this season. So we know the attacking talent was there. The threat was there at Celtic Park a few weeks ago, where Celtic, I thought, for large spells dominated the game, and it should have been well until out of sight. But Atletico Madrid had very little chances, but the chances they did have, they took them, and that's the difference. And obviously going down to 10 men in Europe for me a nothing challenge. I don't think it was a red. And now Maida's now out for 6 weeks because of that challenge. And I feel as if it's a bit hypocritical because Atletico Madrid are known for being a harsh physical team, and the only a couple of seasons ago they were the dirtiest team in Europe and in La Liga, so it just says it all. And obviously they're the ones that got sent off a couple of weeks ago as well. So swings and roundabouts, but I thought Atletico Madrid thoroughly deserved their win. And Celtic, I think that's their European adventure over in terms of Champions League. In terms of just try to save grace now in terms of try to get in Europa League. But no, I thought Antoine Griezmann's a standout, and you can see why he's a world class player. He went for over 100 million to Barcelona for a reason. And I thought that was just it's a night to forget for Celtic, and I think they did that by dispatching of Aberdeen pretty comfortably.
Yeah, no, I agree. A pretty damning night for Celtic. I'd agree. The red card changed the game. I don't think it was a red card for Dyson Maeda. I think it was very harsh. And it kind of ruined the game, to be honest. I actually felt Celtic were playing well with 11 men on the pitch. They were kind of controlling the ball. They were kind of controlling the match. Although they were losing at that time, they were kind of controlling the possession. But that red card totally changed the game, and it just turned into a really bad night for Celtic. I just think they really struggled defensively as well. What Griezmann, you said, was the standout. He was by far the best player in the park for me. But I felt like every shot that Atletico Madrid hit, it just went in. They scored a couple of really good goals and against Celtic as well. But a really bad night for Celtic. They want to forget that pretty quickly, and they did because they, as we just said, as we just talked about, they played Aberdeen on Sunday and they won 6-0. So yeah, really bad one for Celtic. And as you said, I think that's their European season kind of over. Really, I don't see them kind of getting even Europa League football as well after Christmas. So yeah, tough night. So we had Rangers 2, Sparta Prague 1. So what do you think about
So I thought Rangers struggled in the game away from home against Sparta Prague. and luckily to even get a point. But as you've seen, the weeks have been going on. You can see an implemented style with Philippe Clement in the Rangers side. I think they're a really good attacking threat, and you can see they're getting the best out of Michael Beale's summer signings. And you can see a real style of play, which is now evident in terms of like the attacking wingers, and the creativeness and the fast kind of counter-attacking plays, reaping rewards, and yeah, fantastic result. 3 points at home, such. Now Rangers on 7 points, I believe, from 4 games. So I think they've got a really good chance to progress into the last 32. So yeah, I think it's a fantastic result at Ibrox, and Ibrox are a fortress anyway in terms of Europe, and Rangers I'm pretty sure will continue to impress in Europe.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good result for Rangers. They played well. For a good 60 minutes, they were in total control of the match. Then Sparta Prague scored big, and then it became a bit of a nervy ending. But overall, I thought they did deserve to win the match. That puts them in a really good position now to kind of progress into the last 32 of the Europa League. And yeah, they'll just kind of want to, build on that result in Europe and kind of. They've got a really good chance of finishing top of that group as well, so I think they'll be keen to kind of do that. They've still got to go to Real Betis away from home, so that'll be a kind of a tough match for them. But no, really, really good result for Rangers. They'll be delighted with that, especially the fact that we're at home as well. And then lastly in the Conference League, we had PAOK Salonika 2, Aberdeen 2. So what do you think, Pearse?
I think it's a great result in terms of Aberdeen, just a result-based match in terms of I don't think they're going to progress beyond Christmas in Europe. I think that's basically the season done.
No, that's some confirmed there.
Yeah, it's confirmed, yes. But no, I thought they played a fantastic performance. You've seen the lacklustre performance at the weekend against Celtic, because they put so much energy, they were just sapped out of them. And I thought, obviously, in the heat in Greece as well, I thought they played tremendous at times, and also got a fantastic last-minute goal by Jamie McGrath. But no, I think Aberdeen are a great side. And obviously, I think any positive result in terms of a draw or a win in Europe is great for Scottish coefficient as well. So I think that's a bonus you've got to see. And obviously, this is Aberdeen's first group stage, and I don't know how long European group stage. So they can build that as a learning experience, and hopefully they can be back again in Europe next season. Because as you can see, they're a good side.
Yeah, I thought it was a really, really good performance in Aberdeen. It's a tough place to go to. I didn't expect them. I actually expected them to get beat, but they fully deserved to get something from the game. Defensively, they were brilliant. They scored a really good free kick as well from Jamie McGrath. And they just went behind in that. They just went behind 2-1 that game and instantly replied with a free kick goal. So no, I fully deserved point for Aberdeen. I felt. I think it was a little bit of kind of not maybe not revenge, but like they kind of deserved to get something from PAOK Salonika over because they kind of got hard done by in the game at home. So to go there and get at least a point, I think they deserved it. Defensively, I thought they were brilliant. Although they are out now, that's been confirmed out of the Conference League. But I think they've actually done not too bad considering that they've not been in a European group stage for quite a long while. So they'll be, as you said, they'll be looking to get back there next season, but they've still got a lot of work to do in the league because they've not really started well. And obviously they just got beat 6-0, so they'll be really wanting to concentrate on that now. So we're now we're now in the international break, and we've got Scotland playing 2 matches. Scotland have already qualified as well, so there's not really that much significance. So we've got on Thursday, the 16th of November, Scotland are travelling to Georgia, and they'll play the last away match of this Euro group stage campaign. So what do you think about that match, Pearse?
Which one, the Georgia or the Norway one?
Georgia versus Scotland.
Georgia versus Scotland. I think that's basically like glorified friendly, to be honest. Like you touched on, Scotland have qualified for another major tournament, which is an achievement itself. I think you'll see a very much rotated Scotland side, giving a lot of minutes to the fringe players. Obviously, not take the game lightly, but it's time to give players some caps and show them what they can do in terms of when they're called upon. And I think Scotland will still have enough to get the win. I don't think it'll be like 11 players changes. I think there'll be like maybe 4 or 5 changes just to keep a continuity in the team. And obviously every player that does come in when they're called upon usually does do a job. So I think we can see a much changed Scotland side, and I still think Scotland will have enough to do it even away from home in Georgia.
Yeah. As you said, there's not much significance on the match. Obviously now Scotland have qualified, but yeah, I mean, Scotland want to win the match. They want to. They've still got a chance to finish top of the group. It's going to be difficult, but Scotland want to keep that momentum kind of going. They got beat against Spain in the last Euro group stage match, so they'll kind of want to right some wrongs there. But yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough, and they don't have Robertson, Tierney, Aaron Hickey, and Angus Gunn with them in this camp, so they're going to find that's 4 really big players for Scotland. So it's going to be pretty difficult to kind of see how they can get a result without them. But I think they can still do it. I think they are more capable. But there's not much significance on it. But we'll see what happens. And then we've got Scotland versus Norway on Sunday. That's going to be played at Hampden Park. So, what do you think, Pearse?
I think that's the more important game, because obviously the scenes that happened months ago in terms of that late win against Norway, which was so sweet because Scotland hadn't got an away result against a top side in years. And obviously the fact is that they had Erling Haaland, Martin Odegaard, 2 world class players, and Scotland caught with the two late goals to snatch the victory, which was brilliant because that followed up that victory against Spain at home. But I think Norway will be looking for some revenge in terms of retribution for that match, in terms of they wanting to just go out with a bang. They're not qualified, but they want to show that they can compete at this level. But I do think Scotland will play a more stronger side in that game, and I think it'll be a thrilling encounter. And I think you can see Hampden Park absolutely rolling, and I think it will be a fantastic game, and I think Scotland will win that game.
Yeah. Last game of the Europa campaign, so I think Hampden Park's going to be a bit lively. As you said, I think that's going to be the game that the Scotland fans will be most looking forward to. Erling Haaland and Martin Odegaard, they'll be coming to Hampden Park, and I think Norway will want revenge after the way they got defeated by Scotland in the last match. So no, I'm really looking forward to that match. Once again, I think Scotland are more capable, but it's going to be a bit difficult, especially with Erling Haaland up front. So yeah, really look forward to that match as well. So for the final part of the show, Pearse will now give his Asian football roundup.
Yeah, so we've only got 2 weeks left of the domestic leagues in both Korea and Japan, and so we start off with some K-League 1 action. So on Saturday, 11th of November, we had Daejeon Hana Citizen 0, Gangwon FC 1, Daegu FC 1, Gwangju FC 1, Jeju United 0, FC Seoul 0. And on Sunday, the 12th of November, we had Incheon United 1, Jeonbuk Hyundai Motors 1, Suwon FC 2, Suwon Samsung Bluewing 3, which is so significant in terms of the fight of relegation. And then Ulsan Hyundai 3, Pohang Steelers 2. So that was a clash of the big 2 as well. So they were the 2 standout fixtures in terms of the K-League 1 season this weekend. So the top 3 is looking like this. So Ulsan Hyundai already champions on 73 points after 36 matches. Pohang Steelers second in 60, and then third position we've got Gwangju FC on 58 points. So that's in terms of the qualification of the Asian Champions League as well. So they're the 3 teams that are up there at the moment with 2 games to play. And you expect the 3 teams to kind of see that out. So in terms of the relegation battle, So as we've seen there with the Suwon FC getting defeated by their Suwon counterparts, that's significant in terms of Suwon Samsung Blue Wings have now got a fighting chance to make the playoffs in terms of getting automatic relegation because there are 3 teams down there that are just so tight. So in 12th position, Suwon Samsung Blue Wings on 29 points, 11th position, Gangwon FC on 30, and then Suwon FC in 10th position on 32 points. So in terms of the Japanese league, so in the J League 1, on Saturday, 11th of November, with Albirex Niigata 0, FC Tokyo 0, Hokkaido Consadole Sapporo 0, Sanfrecce Hiroshima 0, Shonan Bellmare 2, Nagoya Grampus 1, Gambo Osaka 1, Avispa Fukuoka 2, Sagan Tosu 1, Yokohama FC 3, and then Sunday the 12th of November with Kawasaki Frontale 3, Kyoto Sanga 3, Yokohama F Mariners 2, Ceres Osaka 0, and Ubereda Diamonds 1, Vissel Kobe 2. So that was a standout fixture for this weekend, because the fact is that Vissel Kobe managed to get a win on the 95th minute. It's because in the 91st minute, Ubereda Diamonds equalised through Jose Kante, and then they sent their goalkeeper by a corner, and Vissel Kobe broke and just hit the ball into an empty net, which is it maintains a 2-point lead at the top of the table. So over Yokohama F Mariners, who won comfortably against Ceres Osaka. So at the top of the table we have Vissel Kobe on 65 points, and then closely followed behind them is Yokohama F Mariners on 63 points. So the title's still up for grabs. 2 games remaining, but Yokohama F Mariners just need to keep winning their matches and hope Vissel Kobe slip up, because the pressure's on them. Because Vissel Kobe, this would be monumental. This would be their first ever J League title against the reigning champions, Yokohama F Mariners. So in third position we have Ubereda Diamonds in 54 points, and in fourth position we have Sanfrecce Hiroshima in 52 points, and in fifth position we get Nagoya Grampus on 51 points. So as you see, 3 teams separated by mere 3 points, fighting for that third and final position in terms of the Asian Champions League qualification. It's even tight at the bottom as well. So in the relegation battle we have at the foot of the table we have Yokohama FC on 18th position on 29 points after 32 matches played, and then Shonan Bellmare and Kaohsiung Reysol in 16th and 17th position, both on 31 points. And then just above them we have Gambo Osaka and Kyoto Sanga in 14th and 15th position on 34 points. So as you see, it's all to play for both at the top and at the bottom half of the table, and it's set for a thrilling and exciting end to the season in the Japanese and Korean first divisions. So in terms of Asian football news, Jurgen Klinsmann has criticised key league teams for not giving young players more opportunities to play. He says if Kang-In Lee Kang-In had been a key league player at the age of 18, he would not have had the opportunity to play, because obviously he had to seek opportunities elsewhere, as the Korean divisions usually have under 22 teams where they kind of play season pros or they get foreign players from abroad. So I think young players are not getting that massive opportunity to go and perform in the domestic league, and I think that's kind of hampering the league as a whole, and I think that's what he's trying to aim at. So the KFA have officially announced that the FA Cup winners Pohang Steelers will qualify for the Asian Champions League group stage for the 2024-25 season. The third place team in the K League 1 will compete in the Asian Champions League playoffs. So Pohang Steelers striker may be on his way out. His contract, so Zeka is a Pohang Steelers striker. He has a 1.6 million release clause, and Junbuk Hyundai Motors have agreed terms with the player. Junbuk are looking to negotiate the fee lower, while Pohang wants the clause to be triggered if they want to lose their star striker. A Serbian football pundit couldn't remember Hwang In-Beom's name and said Kim Jong-un instead, who Kim Jong-un is the North Korean dictator, which this video is now becoming a hot topic in Serbia as a funny video, but I don't think it's funny at all. I think it's incredibly racist, and people like this need to be punished accordingly, and racism has no place in football whatsoever. Georgia United goalkeeper Yeon-Soo, who's recovering from a car accident last year, which left him paralysed from the waist down after he was struck by a drunk driver, has now officially announced his retirement. For the third time in a row, Ange Postecoglou has been named as the Barclays Premier League Manager of the Month for October. The former Yokohama F. Mariners boss has now won a hat-trick of awards on his first season ever in the Premier League. Jubilo Iwata have sealed promotion back to the J League 1 at the first team of asking, following fellow J League 2 side SC Machida Zelvia into the top flight of Japanese football. And Kyogo Furuhashi made a milestone 100th appearance against Atletico Madrid last week, where he has notched an impressive 62 goals and 12 assists. Celtic star Kyogo Furuhashi was taken off after a nasty head collision against Aberdeen defender Slobodan Rubezic. The Celtic forward received treatment on the pitch after the foul by the Montenegro international, who only received a yellow card for his overly physical and aggressive challenge that knocked Kyogo out cold. Kyogo did get to his feet and leave the field on his own accord, but has since taken to social media recalling the incident. I don't know how long it took, but I don't remember anything about how my teammates worried about me afterwards or how I walked off the pitch by myself. When I was told at the hospital that everything was fine, I felt that gods of soccer were protecting me. I will continue to work hard towards the future without forgetting my gratitude. So Kyogo is now pulled out of the Japan squad after nasty head knock, after advice of medical staff, as he will now rest up during the international break. And that's all your latest Asian football news.
Thank you, Pearse. And thank you, everyone, for listening to this episode of the Football Chuggu Podcast. This podcast will be available to listen to on the Football Chuggu YouTube channel and also the Football Chuggu website. Thanks for listening and see you soon.
Bye-bye.